Hello, dear ones. All right, so it is day one of Power to the P, and I decided to come to you right from my bed. Yep, straight after my morning practice, and wanted to share a bit of what moved through me today. Um, it is exciting to be officially launching into this month of mindful masturbation. And I woke up even earlier than my normal super early wake up with that anticipation. And I felt a bit tired. Only got about 6 hours of sleep, but couldn't fall back to sleep. So I decided to just dive right in. And as I shared a little bit about yesterday with my personal routine, I like to start my mornings with some silent meditation and then some prayer and ritual and intention setting. And before that began, I made myself a green smoothie so it would be ready for me if I needed some nourishment in the midst of all of this, since my entire morning practice takes about 2 hours, actually, all told. And that's why I get up at 5 o'clock. So I decided to do something I've never done in a practice before, not officially done anyhow, which was to bring music in. And I selected some really evocative instrumental music that speaks to my soul. And I began by looking at myself in the mirror. I was fully dressed at that point and just started to do like a sensuous little dance, which eventually became a striptease as I took the layers of clothing off and spent some time just looking at my body in the mirror, getting really curious, getting up close and personal, twisting and bending and opening in different ways to see all of myself, and spent particular focus looking at my genitals and really spending time with my yoni, looking at all of her folds and textures and contours and colors, and just appreciating the beauty and the uniqueness of the sacred flower that rests at the center of my being. And the music eventually moved me toward my bed, and I continued. For those of you who happen to have a conscious dance practice, which is a big part of my world, it's really contact improvisation, this mindful masturbation. You are following feeling, you're listening in. When is it time to move? What is sensation guiding me toward? And so I let myself be moved into that dance. And the music was definitely influencing me. I noticed it amping me up in moments, slowing me back down in others, inviting me into rhythms that I might not have found otherwise. Eventually, after like three or four songs, it actually became a distraction, is what I realized. I was not fully connecting to my internal rhythms. I was following the external rhythm of the music. And so I decided to turn the music off and entered back into a silent space with just my breath and my body and sound. Spent a lot of time exploring sound, toning and moaning and growling and purring and breathing and hissing. Um, I have, through different facets of my personal practice and my work, I've really come to appreciate the importance of sound and the connection of our throat to our genitals in particular. And so I like to get creative in that way and just let it move through me, whatever the it is. And when you're in a solo practice, what's nice I've found is that self-consciousness of doing this in front of another that often would be the impediment to making noise. You don't have to worry about that because it's just you. And by practicing it with yourself, it definitely does help to disinhibit you when you are with others. I speak from experience around that one too. So, what else was noteworthy today? It's funny. I wasn't like there's a distinction between our erotic energy and sexual arousal. Okay, so I hold erotic energy as just that creative life force pulse that's always there, and it's just a question of tuning into it many times, distinct from sexual arousal, which is when that same erotic energy really builds into a state of turn on. We feel it in our genitals. It's a biochemical cocktail that is getting flooded through our system, and we're hot and bothered, and it's awesome. That wasn't really there for me today. I definitely was attuned to my erotic pulse and noticed it spreading through my body when I consciously breathed up my spine through the back of my body and then back down the front of my body, something called the microcosmic orbit in Taoist traditions, which, if anybody has exposure to that, you might know what I'm talking about. If not, you could very easily YouTube it, research it, Google it, microcosmic orbit, very simple way of bringing breath and mindfulness into a practice in tracking your energy as it moves from the base of the spine up the back of the body to the crown, and then down the front of the body back to the perineum once again. Um, so I gave some focus to that and just let my energy move. And there was shuddering and shaking. And I'm actually holding my phone recording this video. So sorry if that just got a little choppy. We are really going live and fresh and in the present moment here today. And I ended up just naturally landing in a restful state where I had one hand over like my pubic mound, and my middle finger was just resting inside the opening of my vagina, and another hand on my heart, and let that be the pause and the segue into a rest, a conscious rest at the end of my practice. So, just like in a yoga class, there's shavasana at the end, which is a period of integrating all that you just did, all the efforting. You let it really settle into your system. Very similarly, with a mindful masturbation process or practice, giving yourself that integration period at the end is such an essential gift. And I've noticed over prior days of just being in my own space of practice, some days it was like, oh, I've got to get up and get out the door and there's things to do. And so I was skimping on that. Today, with it being the official first day of Power to the P, I really wanted to hold myself accountable to the mindfulness facet of this practice. And so I just rested in that stillness, tracked my heartbeat, my breath, the little shimmers of energy that moved through my body, and it was super yummy. So there is a little bit of insight from me in my bed this morning. I hope you have enjoyed whatever your exploration brought about for you. I look forward to hearing from you if you're inspired to share, and there will be more to come as this journey unfolds. All the best to you. Be gentle with yourself, be curious, be compassionate, and have fun with it. That's really what we're here for. Mwah. Have a beautiful day.